Order, order. Welcome to Reporters Without Orders, where we discuss what made news, what didn't, and what absolutely shouldn't have. Today we have with us Tanishka Sodhi, who you have often seen wearing the host hat, and we have Avdhesh. Tanishka, Avdhesh, how are you both?
Hi, thank you for having us to the prestigious studio.
Of course. Your favorite place?
Of course.
The truth is, Tanishka, like most hardcore on-ground journalists, does not like the studio. So how do you feel, Tanishka, being here?
It's okay. I'm okay doing this for you.
Great. So, Tanishka, you have a recent story where you discuss the transformations at the NDTV group and things that have happened after the acquisition by the Adani group. So, tell us a bit more about it.
Sure. So the story is basically 6 months after the Adani takeover of NDTV. We wanted to see what has changed and also what hasn't changed. So I took quite a bit of time doing the story. I took a few weeks because I spoke to various current and former employees, editors, and also watched a lot of their shows before Adani takeover and after to really analyze what has changed, what hasn't. And it is interesting because, sometimes as a reporter, you want something very black and white. Like you want to say that, okay, this is going the Godi. I mean, you don't want to say that, but that's when the story is truly, you feel like, if you can say that, oh, this is going the Republic way. But the truth is, it's not. It's really not. There are definitely a lot of changes which I'd love to speak about in the course of the podcast. But in a lot of ways, the reportage remains how it has been. Reporters are not told, what direction to take a story. They are not told to not cover something because it will not be good for the ruling party. There are a lot of overt changes. For example, the way that Prime Minister Modi is covered. I don't know if you came across the 8-part series documentary NDTV did on Modi, it was the most public display of affection NDTV could have. There were no questions. It was a straight up, it seemed like a PR campaign. I'm feeling a little weird saying this because I couldn't write in the story that this is felt like a PR campaign. But as a viewer, as a consumer of NDTV also, I've grown up watching NDTV. So the change is visible if you have seen their work before. If, you've just started watching, then it looks a lot like, another TV news channel which will cover things and maybe not be as critical as NDTV usually is, will have a lot of such shows and documentaries that are just praises of the Prime Minister. But as we're also media observers, I've written a lot about NDTV even before the takeover. So the change was very visible. Then there are also some big plans that the Adani Group has for NDTV. There are 9 new channels that have received their trademark licenses. That are in the process of receiving it. And so that's going to start later this year. There are new offices that NDTV is going to move to. A lot more, which, you should all read my report, which is also made possible because it's under the Press Freedom Fund. So thank you for supporting, the NL Sena and helping me do this story. And I don't want to reveal everything because then no one will read the story.
Okay, fair enough. That makes sense. But, you do talk about, you've spoken a lot about how as a consumer and as a viewer, you're noticing slight changes in the NDTV reportage. But I'm also interested that because there have been so many layoffs and so many people from the upper management have quit, I'm interested in knowing how has it changed the dynamics within the newsroom and what have you found through your reporting?
So there have not been layoffs as far as I have understood from all my conversations. But yes, a lot of the top management have left soon after the takeover, Anchors like Ravish Kumar, Nidhi Razdan, Srinivasan Jain and top management like Suparna Singh, Kawaljit Bedi and a couple of more have left soon after because they were also very loyal to the Royals. So they did not want to, what I've understood is really be a part of something which, it's a complete different legacy, right? Like, who are you doing all this for? There has been a void that has been felt by some of the current employees I spoke to, with the absence of the top management and top editors. There are a couple of new people who have come in, 2 new editors, but that has not quite really, it's not there yet.
It's not the same.
Maybe it'll take time. And as far as the anchors are concerned, who are also editors, but also anchors, right? Also the guys we saw on our primetime television day after day. So that absence is yet to be filled. They are yet to rope in people who can adequately replace these guys. There are a couple of things in the makes, but that has not exactly happened yet. And then, of course, the departure of Ravish is, it's a Ravish-shaped hole that is just not going to be filled by anyone else. I don't think even if you are critical of the government, you can really do it to the level that Ravish did, So there is a lot left to... I mean, it's not, the Adanification has not happened of NDTV yet, but there are a lot of changes, and a lot of people do feel that it doesn't happen overnight, right? It takes time. So little by little, maybe when I do this story 1 year from now, we will see a lot more changes. So, yeah.
No, that does make a lot of sense. And now coming to you, Avdhesh, आपकी आज हम 3 स्टोरीज डिस्कस करेंगे, तो आप ही हमें ज़रा थोड़ा ओवरव्यू दे दीजिए.
तो आप सबसे पहले प्रवेश शुक्ला पे बात करना चाहेंगे, जो एक आदिवासी के चेहरे पे टॉयलेट कर दी गई. तो पहले इस स्टोरी के बारे में डिस्कस करते हैं, फिर सीमा जो पाकिस्तानी.
एक नई खबर आई है कि वो ISI एजेंट है, क्या आपने फॉलो अप किया है उस पर?
नहीं, अभी ऐसा कुछ भी अभी ऐसा कुछ भी क्लियर नहीं हुआ है कि वो कौन है, क्या है. अभी तो बस उसको एक प्रेमिका के रूप में देखा जा रहा है कि पाकिस्तान से एक प्रेमिका आई और ऐतिहासिक काम उसने किया है जो मीडिया का एक तबका बताने की कोशिश कर रहा है. तो एक वो खबर है, उसके बाद फिर बाढ़ पे बात करेंगे. तो सबसे पहले प्रवेश शुक्ला
जी, तो आप मुझे बताइए. आई थिंक सबसे पहले तो मैं ये आपसे जानना चाहती हूँ कि आपका प्रोसेस क्या था जब आप ये स्टोरी कर रहे थे, क्योंकि एक ये बहुत सेंसिटिव स्टोरी भी है. एक सेंसिटिव स्टोरी बिकॉज द इशू कॉज सो मच एंगर ऑन सोशल मीडिया, ऑन मीडिया. जिसने भी वीडियो देखी है, आपके दिल में एक बहुत ज़्यादा गुस्सा आता है कि ऐसा आज भी कैसे हो रहा है. और दूसरी तरीके से एक ये सेंसिटिव है क्योंकि आप एक पॉलिटिशियन को देख रहे हैं एट देयर वर्स्ट एंड यू आर रिपोर्टिंग ऑन इट.
इसमें प्रतीक सर ने और मैंने दोनों ने मिलकर स्टोरी की. बेसिकली मध्य प्रदेश का पूरा मामला था जब ये एक वीडियो वायरल होने लगा कि एक आदिवासी के चेहरे पे एक जो शख्स है, युवक है, वो टॉयलेट कर रहा था. फिर कुछ देर बाद खबर आई कि ये बीजेपी से जुड़ा है. तो फिर हमने इसको जानने की कोशिश करी कि ये कौन है, क्या है और ये ऐसा क्यों हो रहा है. तो फिर हमने वहाँ की पुलिस से बात की. वहाँ का जो इसको बताया जा रहा था कि ये रिप्रेजेंटेटिव है एक विधायक का वहाँ के. फिर हमने उस विधायक से बात की और विधायक के बाद फिर इसके परिवार से बात करने की कोशिश की, SP, पुलिस, वहाँ के लोकल लोगों से बात करने की कोशिश की. तो कुल मिला के ये पता चला कि जो ये प्रवेश शुक्ला है, ये कि गुंडा किस्म का आदमी है जो आए दिन मतलब लड़ाई झगड़े, लोगों को मारना, पीटना, धमकियाँ देना, इस तरह का इसका काम है. और इसके लिए बहुत बड़ी बात ये है नहीं कि मतलब किसी के ऊपर टॉयलेट कर देना, किसी को पीट देना, किसी को धक्का देना. इसके लिए बहुत नॉर्मल सी बातें हैं. वहाँ लोकल स्थानीय लोगों का ऐसा कहना है. खासतौर से आदिवासी है. ये वीडियो मार्केट में आ गया, वीडियो सोशल मीडिया पे वायरल हो गया, तो इसलिए लोग इसके बारे में जानने की कोशिश करने लगे, पूछने लगे ऐसा क्यों है. लेकिन उनके साथ ये अत्याचार बहुत नॉर्मल है. आपने कहीं अभी भी देखा होगा, आज तक भी वो आदमी जिसके ऊपर टॉयलेट किया गया, वो इतना मतलब एक बार भी उसने ये नहीं कहा कि हाँ मेरे ऊपर टॉयलेट हुआ है, इस आदमी को सज़ा होनी चाहिए. यहाँ तक कि उसको CM ने बुलाया अपने घर पे, उसके पैर धुले, उसको साफ़ा पहनाया, उसको कुछ गिफ्ट भी दिए, खाना साथ में खाया. इसके बावजूद भी वो आदमी एक बार ये नहीं कह पाया कि इसको सज़ा होनी चाहिए. हालांकि उसका एक बाद में वीडियो वायरल हुआ तो वो भी उसमें भी वो वही कहता नजर आया कि हमारे गांव के पंडित जी हैं, इनको माफ़ कर दीजिए, बात पुरानी हो गई, छोड़ दीजिए. तो आप इससे अंदाज़ा लगाइए वो फैमिली कितनी डरी होगी, वहाँ इन लोगों का क्या हालत होगी, आदिवासी जो स्थानीय लोग हैं वहाँ की उनकी क्या स्थिति होगी. तो आप इससे अंदाज़ा लगा सकते.
मैं ये भी सोच रही हूँ क्योंकि एक कि जैसे कि ये स्टोरी सोशल मीडिया पे काफ़ी वायरल हुई है, बहुत लोगों ने देखा है, चीफ मिनिस्टर ने भी विक्टिम को बुलाया है, उनके साथ खाना खाया. एंड देयर इज ऑफ कोर्स अ लॉट ऑफ media pressure, a lot of civil society group pressure. तो मैं ये सोच रही हूँ that the behavior जो है accused का, आपको लगता है क्या वो कब थोड़ा भी बदला होएगा अब के हिसाब से based on the history?
देखिए, मैं आपको एक बात बताता हूँ कि ये जो इस तरह के लोग हैं, इस तरह का जो नेचर है, वो एक दिन में कोई नहीं बनता कि जाके वो हुआ और उसने ये सब कर दिया, वो एक दिन में नहीं बनता. उनको वहाँ के स्थानीय लोगों का संरक्षण प्राप्त होता है. उनको जो पॉलिटिकल लोग हैं, जो राजनीति से जुड़े लोग हैं, जैसे बीजेपी में वहाँ सत्ता है तो वहाँ उनका विधायक का रिप्रेजेंटेटिव था तो विधायक का संरक्षण प्राप्त था. इसके अलावा सत्ता में होने के साथ साथ जो पुलिस है वहाँ की, उनका संरक्षण इनको प्राप्त था. इससे आप अंदाज़ा लगाइए कि जब इसकी पहले गिरफ्तारी हुई तो जब इसको थाने ले जाया जा रहा था तो इसकी पीठ थपथपाई जा रही थी. जब इसको गिरफ्तार किया गया तो इसकी पीठ थपथपाई जा रही थी, तब इसको लेके गया जैसे कोई एक्टर मतलब थाने में जा रहा है गमछा अमछा बांध के और पॉकेट में हाथ डाल के, उस तरह से एंट्री की थी, तो फिल्मी स्टाइल में, ठीक है। जब उसका वीडियो वायरल हुआ तो वहाँ की पुलिस को लोगों ने मतलब सोशल मीडिया पे बाकायदा बोला कि एक ऐसा है कि एक अपराधी के साथ वो भी इतना जघन्य अपराध जिसने किया कि किसी के फेस पे टॉयलेट करा है, कि आप उसको कैसे मतलब उसके सरेंडर हो गए हैं आप लोग, उसकी सेवा में लग रहे हैं, पीठ थपथपा रहे हैं, बहुत बड़ा काम कर दिया है ना। तो उसके बाद फिर जब एक दूसरा वीडियो आया नेक्स्ट डे, जब इसको थाने से बाहर लेके जा रहा है, तो पुलिस वाले इतनी घटिया एक्टिंग कर रहे थे ना, इसका गिरबान पकड़ रहा है तो पीछे से, चल ऐसे करके चल,
इतना फोर्स लग रहा था।
हाँ, और पीछे 5-6 पुलिस वाले, तो मतलब वो साफ समझ में आ रहा था कि ये सोशल मीडिया का असर है, लोगों ने इनको गालियाँ दी हैं। पुलिस वालों से पूछा है कि भैया तुम क्या कर रहे हो, एक अपराधी के साथ ऐसे एकदम एक्टर टाइप इसकी जो है एंट्री करा रहे हो, तब उनको लगा। और उसके साथ बाद जब इन्होंने दोबारा इसको धकियाते हुए लेके गए हैं, गाड़ी में डाल रहे हैं, तो मतलब वो इतना ऑड लग रहा है कि वो साफ समझ में आ रहा है कितनी बढ़िया एक्टिंग इन्होंने की है कैमरों के सामने। तो कोई भी एक दिन में आदमी नहीं ऐसा नहीं बनता है, लेकिन हाँ अवेयरनेस की ज़रूरत है। हमारी जो गवर्नमेंट है उसको अवेयर करना चाहिए। हम तभी क्यों जागते हैं जब इस तरह की घटनाएं होती हैं, हम समय समय पर क्यों नहीं जाके बताते। जब आप किसी ऐसे एरिया में रैली करने जाते हैं, हमारे सीएम या कोई पॉलिटिकल लीडर वहाँ ऐसे एरिया में रैली करने जाता है जो आदिवासी बहुल्य हो, आप उनका वोट लेने तो जाते हैं, आप वहाँ इस चीज़ की तो घोषणा करते हैं कि चलिए आपको जो है हम खाना फ्री देंगे, हम सत्ता में आ जाएंगे तो आदिवासियों को हम ये कर देंगे, हम इनके लिए इसकी व्यवस्था करेंगे, हम नौकरियाँ देंगे। इस तरह के झूठे वादे तो कर दें, लेकिन कभी भी इस बात की बात नहीं करते कि एट्रोसिटी की घटनाएं क्यों बढ़ रही हैं, कि हम क्यों जो है उन लोगों को रोकने के लिए हमें क्या करना चाहिए। कि ये सब बाद में सेकेंडरी चीज़ें, पहले उनके आत्मसम्मान की बात होनी चाहिए, है ना। उनका जो सेल्फ रेस्पेक्ट है वो होना चाहिए, तुम उनका सम्मान कीजिए, वो उनके लिए ज़्यादा ज़रूरी है ना। या तुम खाना दे देंगे तो वो ज़्यादा ज़रूरी है जी। भाई खाना तो वो कमा ही रहा है ना, मेहनत करके खा लेगा, कमा लेगा। मेहनत कश लोग हैं, कमाते ही आए हैं, लोग हैं मजदूरी करते ही आए हैं, तो ये बात है।
नहीं, दैट इज सो ट्रू। अवधेश, आपने एक चीज़ बोली है जो तनिष्का ने भी बोली थी कि एक दिन में कोई चीज़ बदलती नहीं है। एंड तनिष्का, यू ऑफ कोर्स सेड दैट overnight, of course, NDTV hasn't changed. But even your report suggests that there have been very indirect influence on the channel's content now. Could you provide us maybe with some specific examples that indicate it?
So I did hear from some of the employees that they have been told to prioritize, Modi stories also. Besides that, just as a viewer, if you watch the coverage of, Modi going to US, Modi going to France, it is a marked difference from their previous coverage, I mean, obviously everyone's going to cover the visit of the Indian Prime Minister to a foreign state. But the way that it is covered, I think that's what makes the difference, like especially for US, they went really all out. They marketed this also as, 100 hours of non-stop NDTV coverage, of Modi's visit and everything. And there are instances which I have written about, for example, one of them, the anchor Vishnu Som, who is someone we've watched since years, right? And he is one of the good ones that does really provide good coverage, good questions usually. But when this is when he went to France, not US. So just a couple of days ago, so there's a group of Indian citizens in France who were waiting for Modi's arrival. So he was talking to them about what they're excited about and, whether this feels like a festival for them. And they were like, yeah, Modi, Modi, Modi and everything. And then there was a little girl, she was holding a poster. And then after he finished speaking to them, they were chanting, Modi, Modi, Modi. And then he told the little girl, you should also join them. And then everyone else started, with Modi hai to mumkin hai, and then he's like, that's the spirit of India, and not India, something that's the spirit that you can see here, but just a little thing of telling her you should also join them, even if it is in in just as a joke. It's just a little different, uncomfortable to watch as a viewer and as someone who's covering this, So there are a lot of instances of when another reporter went to US when Modi was in US, she visited a restaurant in New Jersey which was starting a dish that was inspired by Modi, it was called the Modi Ji Thali. And they had not even introduced it yet. They just were planning to because Modi was coming. And, it was a segment and it was marketed as big story. And she sat down with the chefs, the restaurant owners, regular customers, even though they have not had the thali. And she just spoke about why, and, they went through each dish. And it's all a little, there are a lot of other questions to be raised when he is over there, which a reporter from Wall Street Journal did raise when she got to ask him a question. So you would just expect, of course, you should cover. This is a big thing for India also, you know, if he is going over there and there are diplomatic ties that are being tightened in a way, but there are still questions to be asked, right? There are always questions to be asked. I think as reporters, we can all vouch for that. You know, so having a complete 100 hours of NDTV non-stop coverage without any sort of critical coverage is a little alarming.
Yeah, very unsettling. And, you know, you also, I mean, this is, of course, you're talking about reporting as a profession, but there also, you mentioned in your story that there are reporters from within the organization who have aired their concerns about not wanting to do the Hindu-Muslim dog whistle stories. So maybe can you tell us a little bit more about that?
I don't want to give too many details because I'm a little, I don't want to reveal or indicate who are the people, but they did air their concerns that they don't want to do these kind of stories, you know, or they don't want to, like with the changes, this should not be one of the changes that for TRPs they have to do a lot of the Hindu-Muslim stories. So they were assured that they wouldn't have to, and so far they seem satisfied that they haven't been pushed to do that, you know, they're like, we can still do our reports the way we want to, we're not told to go in a certain direction, which is great, you know. Maybe the Lakshman Rekha that Adani keeps speaking about, maybe it will be maintained, I'm not sure. And I also forgot to mention another change, which is BJP leaders just engaging with NDTV now, you know, that is a marked difference since I think 2017 they had completely stopped. You know, maybe they would just send like some of their not top spokespersons when they really had to, but otherwise they would not come for the debates, they would not give interviews. That has really, really changed. You know, there are a lot of interviews that NDTV has done with sitting union ministers. There are a lot of BJP leaders that engage with the channel, that come, you know, for the debates. There is, you know, UP government has started giving ads to NDTV, which was not the case earlier. There was this whole UP conclave also, which saw BJP leaders also engage with NDTV. So yeah, that is also a change. In a way, it's good for reporters because chalo at least accessibility बढ़ गई है, because you want both. You want to, you know, it'll only be stronger. Your story will be stronger no matter what it is once you have everyone's sides. So in that way, chalo, accessibility is good, but you know.
Thank God they're speaking to reporters. Otherwise, they were only speaking to influencers.
That's also true.
So, you know, maybe if there's a silver lining here. On that note, the video segment of our podcast is over. Please move on to the audio segment on newslaundry.com. See you there.
The subscription model is something that keeps Newslaundry afloat, but we need hundreds of thousands of people to completely transform the news ecosystem. So you pay for news, so it serves you. So click on the link with this video, subscribe to Newslaundry and pay to keep news free, और गर्व से कहो, मेरे खर्च पर आजाद है खबरें.